former MVP headed back to the place he won MVP years ago, the Carolina Panthers. With Sam Darnold injured, they needed a quarterback. Cam needed a home, and, well, here we are. The deal worth up to $10 million as he now returns to the team that he led to a Super Bowl appearance way back when. Here's head coach Matt Rule on the decision to sign Cam Newton.
This team wants to win. And this team moving forward wants to win, and they want to win now, and they want to win this year, and they want to win next year, and they want to win. And so this isn't about anything other than winning. And I think that's the only reason why Cam's coming here, because he wants to win. That's why I'm bringing him here, because I want to win. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of how I see it. I'm happy that people are excited. Don't get me wrong, but. People, I want to someday have a ticker tape parade here in Charlotte, right? So, it hasn't happened yet, and that weighs on my conscience, right? Like I want to bring a Super Bowl to the city, and so every step we make, it's, hey, can this help us get to the playoffs? Hey, can this help us win? Hey, because if we get to the playoffs, you never know what happens, right? You always have a chance. So, I'm not saying we're going to the playoffs. I'm not making any predictions. I'm not talking on hypotheticals, but this is the most disciplined move right now to give us a chance to win. And, PJ has to go help us win this week, and PJ has to help us win the following weeks. I can't say anything about the future, what's happening or how it'll go down, but that's why we made the decision.
Matt Rule with a plethora of sound bites in that one soundbite. The Panthers posting this picture of Cam with Panthers owner David Tepper with the caption, "Together again." Mike, if anyone knows about dual threat quarterbacks, it would be you, the best to ever do it. Do you expect things to work out in Cam's return to Carolina?
I do, and I'm super excited to see Cam back in Carolina because the whole saga in New England, why it worked out, and I think Cam got some good experience from that. It just didn't feel right. I felt like he should have never left Carolina, but obviously now, it's under new management. I think the pressure's on Matt Rule now. Matt Rule, can you go from a Sam Darnold to a Cam Newton and adjust your system, adjust your strategy to a dual threat quarterback? Cam won't play over the next couple weeks. It'll take some time for him to get acclimated, but as you look at this in totality, Cam got weapons now, got Christian McCaffrey, he got DJ Moore, he got Robbie Anderson. They just got to fix things up front with the offensive line. Defensively, I think they play good complementary football, but this is going to be Cam's team, and I don't think this is a play just for this year. I think this is for the following season. So, they'll slow play it with Cam. He won't be inserted early. They'll give him some time to make the adjustments, to learn the system, and then he'll get put out there for the last 4 or 5 games. But he needs this time to get acclimated, and I can't wait to see what Cam does as a Carolina Panther because, look, this was the best place for Cam to end up, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, so, Mike, I'm excited for Cam / a little bit worried. So I'm excited for Cam because I think he provided some great leadership in New England, a lot of enthusiasm, and he made a little bit of a gap year between the real GOAT and the young GOAT, Mac Jones, interesting and fun. He ran the ball a lot, didn't throw the ball down the field a lot. Arm looked a little bit shot at times. The ball looked a little heavy at times. And this is our favorite stat, and great for Cam, but we use it a lot, on why Cam seems a little bit limited since his shoulder injury. So, Mike, when he was with the Patriots earlier this year, he was talking about being healthy. Belichick talked about him being healthy. He looked good in the preseason. But this stat is still out there that he can't throw the ball 15 yards down the field. What are your thoughts on this? Cam Newton puts that all to bed. Michael Vick style. First play of the game. Air it out. Just air it out like you did Deshaun Jackson on Monday Night Football. Maybe it's completed, maybe it's not. But then you put sort of the fear like, oh, the old Cam is back. Because the Patriots Cam couldn't do that, maybe one time against the Texans. But I want to see if Cam can throw it down the field. Do you think it's a good idea for Matt Rule to let Cam loose right away?
So you're pretty much saying first play of the game, his first snap, just take a shot. Just chunk it down the field. I mean, look, that's a good way to back the defense up. And then you'll see what you got in Cam. You'll see how far he can throw the ball, if he can get it out there. I know that's going to be important because Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, they both have speed. I think for Cam, it was just best that he didn't play over the last 8 weeks, and he had a chance to rest his body and recover probably go back and watch some film and figure out some things that he can do better. And now being, a Carolina Panther, he's going to have to spend more time trying to understand the offense and learn the offense at a rapid pace, but he gets more time to rest his body. And, there's no pressure right now. The pressure will come once he's inserted, but in terms of, what he can do, how he can do it, if he can push the ball down the field, that remains to be seen, and that's something that we're certainly going to watch closely.
And so here's the thing. Will it work? It will work by definition just because Cam won't be what Sam Darnold was. And what Darnold was this year was the exact same thing he was last year, which is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. At least by passer rating, if that matters to you. Last year, he was terrible. This year, statistically, he's worse. So it will work because he's not Darnold. Who, hey, listen, I met Sam once. Seems like a nice guy. Can't be a starter in this league. It's not Adam Gase's fault. It's not the Jets' fault. He can't be a starter in this league. So it will work in that regard. And Carolina, because the NFC has 5 great teams and then a bunch of, Like the reason we think Seattle is still alive, is San Francisco still alive, is because currently the Saints, who are starting Trevor Siemian at quarterback, are a playoff team, and the 4-4 Falcons are a playoff team. So, of course, the 4-5 Panthers are alive for the playoffs. They're a half game out of being in the playoffs, and they get to play the Saints, they get to play the Falcons by virtue of being in the same division. I feel very confident when Cam's going to start, Wilds. It'll be week after this one. They have Washington, and they have Miami, and they have a bye. They didn't give him $4.5 million guaranteed to only play the final few games of the year when they maybe are already eliminated from the playoffs if they lose the next few. But I want to talk about Wilds, the Panthers process here. Because yes, Cam was not the MVP he once was. And yes, Cam's body was breaking down. All that's true. But what's also true we now know is, if the Panthers are being honest, they regret cutting him. Because what did they do after they cut him? They gave Teddy Bridgewater $33 million guaranteed. He played 1 year for them. They then traded a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick for Sam Darnold. Picked up his option, which next year is $19 million, fully guaranteed. He was coming off a season where he was the worst quarterback in the NFL, lowest passer rating. This year, he has a worse passer rating and a worse touchdown-interception ratio than last year, and that's despite the fact first 3 weeks of the season, he was good, which means the last 5 weeks, he must have been awful, and he was. So Carolina, if when you decide to move on from the best player, most important player, most iconic player in franchise history, it's because we're going to draft a quarterback. Well, you had the opportunity this year. You passed on Justin Fields. You passed on Mac Jones. Instead, you take J.C. Horn, who I like a lot, suffered a bad injury, but he's a corner. How much he can help you is limited. You cut a franchise icon to give a combined, this is the numbers, $54 million guaranteed dollars for a year of Teddy Bridgewater and a year of Sam Darnold. That's horrifying. That is as badly as you can manage the quarterback position is what they've done in Carolina. So Cam was upset when they cut him, and it turns out he was right about it.
So real quick, Nick, what do they do now? Because the tricky part for Cam is Matt Rule's talking about a ticker tape parade. I'm like, that's not happening, buddy. That's just not going to happen. Maybe if North Carolina, the college basketball team, wins something, but I don't think they're going to win a ticker tape parade. It feels like Cam is in another little bit of a gap year, Nick, where it's like, all right, can you steady this ship for a while? But we need our long-term guy. For the Patriots is Mac Jones. I assume the Panthers are going to go back to the well and look for a quarterback, don't you?
Well, yes, listen, they have to draft a quarterback at some point. What I think is this, Vic. I think that Cam has the opportunity now to, by the way, in a place he's played for, obviously, and he played with DJ Moore. He played with Christian McCaffrey. They're 2 top weapons he's familiar with, even if it's a new offense. In a place he should be comfortable to show the league he can still play. And if he can, then I'll tell you where I think he plays next year. I think it's a place you played. And it's not Atlanta, it's not Philly, it's not the Jets. I think he can go to Pittsburgh next year if he plays well. Yeah. If Pittsburgh doesn't trade for Aaron Rodgers, they don't have the heir apparent, they are ready to win, they have a great coach. If Cam can show that he can be adequate, he doesn't have to be great, if he can be adequate, I think this is an audition for his next team, and I think that next team, Vick, could be Pittsburgh.
That would be amazing, Nick, if that happens. And one thing about Mike Tomlin, he's not afraid to take that chance. And if he do, he's going to believe in it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and Steeler Nation, they'll believe in it as well. But in regards to Cam being in Carolina now, I think we should just look at this as a short-term play. You know, this season, what can Cam do? What would he look like? And will he be worthy of us bringing him back next year? I want Cam at Carolina next year just to see what he can do and see how it plays out, and if he can bring back that magic that he once had there before.
Cam, by the way, still the franchise leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns.